Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shantae and the Seven Sirens, I believe is the name of this game. So yeah, we need to just run around while Uncle Mimic here, I think that's his name, man. It's literally been only an hour since I played the first episode here and I've forgotten the name and yeah, of the main character. Basically, we need to run around and talk to people, I guess, just for fun. There's a series I'm into. I can't tell if the latest version is a sequel, a reboot, a soft reboot, a relaunch, or a soft robot rabbit. I'm so confused. Which, for this game, this is a sequel, and I guess you might call it a soft reboot too, and the idea that they probably won't really force you to have played the previous games. Even the last game is pretty dated, so I'm hoping that this more modern game is much more of a modern type of experience, because there was definitely some parts in the last game that I wouldn't want to go back and play a second time. Warp downs to get around more quickly. Buy one at the item shop. Alright. The gallery seems to have opened up. Why not take a look? Alright, so the gallery is now open. When you turn into a monkey, does the food in your stomach change into monkey food? Gross. That's an interesting way of thinking, certainly. Let's talk to our friend. Nope, don't want to lift off. Interesting. We can monkey dance now, so we should probably look and see if there's like a reason to come over here. And see, all you do is tap Y to go back, which is nice because I feel like in the previous games you kind of had to hold the button down longer. Let's see. Seems like Bolo is missing. Would I like a hint? No. It's interesting that she's giving the hints now when previous games it was Sky that was giving the hints. I think that works better though, frankly, that it gives the bathhouse more of a reason for you to visit even if you don't ever really need to refill your health, and just makes it more of an important location. My home was destroyed by a sandstorm long ago. Item shop. We haven't found any like collectibles yet, so I imagine there will be collectibles. Alright. We are kind of back to the point where we are buying the exact same items that we were buying before. Interesting. Dance to warp to the previously visited areas within a given world. Interesting. I could buy shampoo to increase my damage, but we don't know if that's a temporary damage increase or a permanent increase. Silky cream to increase our whipping speed. Bikini armor, I imagine, is permanent. Magic bracelet is probably permanent. Metronome to increase the speed of transformation dances. We're not sure if that really is necessary. Here we have a move, so we definitely would want that. We'll probably buy this. And attract certainly sounds like an appealing upgrade. Pike ball, fireball. Fireball looks new. No, fire was there, pike ball was there, storm was there, and bubble. That might be across 2 games that those magic abilities existed, but yeah, that's a pretty good deal. So now we can left trigger to dash backwards, but not right trigger, oddly. So if you're on this side, left trigger goes this way if you're facing that direction. Be sure to talk to everyone in town often. We have a lot about the secrets of Sequin, and we know a lot about the secrets. Once you learn how to swim, you can't help but want to take a dip everywhere there's water. What's the strange girl over there? She's so wiggly. And here's the art gallery. Odd that you're loading into a scene. Locked. How terrible. I lost all 10 gallery keys when I was traveling the world, so these are going to be the collectibles. Since you're out of a job, how about you go find them for me? So I guess the idea here is this will unlock either single images or a group of images. Clearly, the loading there, though, indicates that the art gallery may have been some like DLC, because you don't get loading for this, and unless the art gallery is actually secretly a lot more than it seems. And I assume I'm not climbing this wall. So we have a wiggly girl in what looks like a bathhouse type outfit. Let's talk to her. Clearly she has a mission for us. Yike, it's terrible. Someone please help me. All the young maidens from my village, they've disappeared. I heard that a guardian genie lived in this town. You must be her. Please, will you help me, my village? Count on it. Oh, thank you, thank you. Here's a map to Mermaid Falls. You got a Mermaid Falls map. You'll need to fly there and quickly, before more young maidens vanish. This is a little bit more open world than I kind of expected from this game, frankly. If we do spend a decent amount of time just getting these side missions that don't seem like they really matter, I imagine what the truth of is going to be is that we will get 7 missions that will take us to 7 sirens, and that'll be that. I bet he hasn't done anything. Yeah. I bet he won't finish the dynamo for a while. Or we'll get an item in the dynamo, for the dynamo in this mission. Are you going there? Looks that way. Well, be careful. Mermaids around those parts can be very dangerous, especially the saltwater variety. They won't get the drop on me. After all, I'm the town's guardian G. Hold it. I'd like you to introduce you to someone. Hello, who are you? Oh, you don't know? So, here's a new character, pointy ears. So, I don't know how she could be a genie though. Wearing more coverage on the pants and puffy pants, puffy sleeves. It's nice to see that she has these like twin tails and short hair, because they were going fairly consistent in the previous game where they were showing a lot of just exact same body type, exact same blonde hair, art style, the what the Japanese call the bon cubon, big breast, tiny waist, big hips style, and they're still kind of going with that, but I think they're trying to put some more variety here now. How sad. I'm your replacement, of course. What? Holly Lingerbean, Half-Genie Hero for hire. So there are other half-genies apparently, but you can call me Holly. Your mom was a genie? That's right. And my dad was a stage magician. So I'm more magical than any other half genie by far, huh? Babies don't work that way. It's true, she stole my nose and removed her own thumb while I watched. As our old guardian genie, I'd like you to show her the ropes. Me? No big whoop, Mayor. I'm sure I'll just be fine without her. Later, tiny tater. That's a weird insult, but okay. I can't believe he actually did it. Now hold on. You replaced me with that snotty, little. Now. You don't have to get all competitive. Besides, you're on a mission, remember? I guess you're right. Okay, then off to Mermaid Falls. We're ready to lift off. Yes, we are. Okay, climb aboard. So, the mermaids in the previous game were kind of frustrating in the same way that a lot of the levels, a lot of the enemies were frustrating. They definitely had a pattern in which it was fairly easy to get hit, even if you were trying really hard to avoid taking damage, and it was fairly easy to, fairly hard to avoid taking damage or get close enough to hit them. Looks like this is the place. The last time, Bolo, I can handle this on my own. Weird that they wouldn't have animated him getting on the bird also. Maybe he walked to Mermaid Falls. Really nice looking water in the foreground and background. It could be perhaps too nice and a little distracting. That's not what your uncle said. He insisted I lend you a hand until he could create a machine to replace you. Ugh, fine. Let's get down to business. According to the girl back in Scuttletown, locals have been vanishing from these parts by the dozens. 1 minute they're here and the next, poof. Gone without a trace. Gone. So I guess there was more of a conversation that happened. Gone. Gone how? Well, given the surroundings, I think it's pretty obvious who's to blame for all of this. The answer is psst, psst. Fish folk? Shh. I've read the mermaids are beautiful but often vain, and all of the targets have been sweet, innocent, adorable maidens. It must be a jealousy thing. So, gulp. That means I could be next. Ugh, not really. Maidens are, you know, ladies only. There you go again. What? Leaving me out like you always do. I mess up one delivery and suddenly I'm useless. But, huh? Ever since we were kids, you get to be the hero and I'm always the goof up. Well, I'm sick of barfing in your shadow. I'm gonna prove once and for all that I am every bit the hero you are. Bolo, come back. That's not even a colloquialism. That's a big word. Ugh, that dimwit. It won't last 5 minutes. So I think it's fairly obvious what's gonna happen here is the squid, the like slightly perverted giant squid octopus that we fought before is gonna be the one kidnapping the maidens. Alright, so those crabs look very nicely animated. Alright, the mermaids are doing a spin attack that goes in every direction, so they're effectively doing the same hard to dodge attack, but I guess maybe I can hit the bubbles when they attack and dodge it that way. At some point we'll get a dance that will let us transform into a fish and probably avoid not avoid, but find a bunch of stuff around here. It's a little surprising they didn't want to go for like a wet to dry animation. They have that in some of the Tomb Raider games where the Lara Croft will get in the water and then her hair will like fairly quickly dry, like in a few seconds, which is an unrealistic amount of time, but they tried fairly hard to make it visually look more realistic. And since this is a game that is centered around hair, I wouldn't have been surprised if they had gone that route. But they didn't, so whatever. No, it doesn't seem like I can actually bounce these attack sections. And these platforms look very much like the platforms that we would have had in... Oops. We would have seen in the generic area that was just outside of the city in the game we played before the last game. So the second game in the series, there was a lot of scarecrows and we saw a lot of things like this. While the monkey dance can get me to new heights, you then trade off safety. Now I just died and I don't have any auto potions. Ooh. And that could be a big time sink. This is where checkpoints really would be more appreciated. I'm just gonna hit the start button and skip that. So we need to find a way to increase our health really fast here. If I can't do that, then I'm gonna have some major problems. So the real answer here is to make a mad dash to the end of this level. Don't spend any extra time, don't try to do anything fancy, just get to the end and be done with it. Just work our way up here. What is this? Apparently, this is some kind of shortcut area. Some kind of shortcut area that I don't know how that works, but that does indicate that once we start to get to some dungeons, we probably will run into quick exits that are very similar to this. I guess the next question would be is there... I assume there are dungeons. It'd be fairly crazy if there wasn't. I can't get in there. I need some kind of distance shooting. I suppose that is a question to ask if we are going to get a cannon and a gun like we had in the previous game, or if we are just sticking with the transformation dances. You would kind of assume that the direction this would go is we would see abilities and things from the two previous games merged together, and not just a return to the abilities in this game. See, we went up there at the top before. Yep. We're back to having enemies that we have to hit 3 or 4 times. Right. And here we have quite the collection of girls, and sure, they may have the exact same model and just different coloring on them, but at least we're getting a variety of skin tones and characters. Interesting that that's different hair colors and different styles. I guess we're supposed to grab onto this ring and follow it about as far as we can. If this is the octopus, he's got quite the production going on here. And that's another enemy that does a lot of damage. And then I assume the trick here is you're trying to avoid getting eaten by these fish. And seems like the girls are getting eaten by the fish and getting turned into mermaids. That's funny. And now we've got the girl, his bolo, upside down. His face got eaten by a fish. I think that was probably intentionally designed to make me take a hit. So people are getting kidnapped and turned into mermaids against their will, or looking like mermaids. And here we go for higher heights. This is one of those situations though where you can't grab the ring with it as a monkey. There's a decent chance you'll just fall to your death. And so you're gonna have to be very careful. Platforming can get pretty difficult in these Shantae games. I don't feel like this is insanely difficult, but I can see it getting that way if I'm not careful. And since I don't have any magic and I don't have any like weapons or anything, I should probably just basically play this first section. I suppose this is a dungeon, and very creative design here to make what is effectively a dungeon feel absolutely nothing like a dungeon. And clearly at some point we will have more abilities. Oh man. But if this puts me like back at this at the beginning of the factory, which it seems like it does, this is gonna take a while. So it's just all about not getting hit. Not getting hit and taking every heart opportunity you can have. I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to miss that damage though. That seemed like that was mandatory, a mandatory hit. Here's Bolo. See, I think you jump backwards there, but it actually seems fairly inconsistent. It seems like there isn't a specific timing between the different tracks. So it probably is just easiest to wait and hope it lines up. It's cool that these guys like explode. If you get a one-hit kill, it shoots them completely off the screen. Because that gives you like an exciting bit of feedback. You don't want to grab these rings, or do you want to grab these rings? I mean, that just takes you backwards. So, unless you were using this to get up there, I'm confused. Let's get you here. But this isn't the direction you're going. If I'm in the air, I can't transform. Okay, I guess the monkey can hold rings. I was wrong about that. I just missed it the last time I tried. Which that does kind of inherently indicate to me that the monkey was supposed to be doing the ring catch the whole time. Let's see if we can get some health. The question, I guess, is, can the game throw you a bone, or do you just die over and over again if you're not careful? Let's see, slowly sliding here. Just gonna try to work my way upward and assume that this is the direction that's intended. Yeah, the monkey can jump higher, so I'm like stuck on the wall. There we go. Well, I thought that would have been it. But apparently not. So we're just doing straight up stealth at this point. Who's this? A customer, you rang? I specialize in teaching only the most magical dance moves. All S-grade stuff here, very useful, no duds. So, man, I wish I had 250 to get the revive dance. Do heavy damage to every enemy nearby. Turn into a dryad to harvest fruit. Blast your foes to bits as a legendary vehicle. Sophia 3 dance. Blobfish dance. I feel like some of these dances are skins, frankly. Yeah, Ultimate Edition. Transform into a jug of gems and make bank. Slash and double jump is one of Risky's Tinkerbats. Let's see. Trade Super Revive for Sophia Dance. No. I don't want that. I think what I want is Mega Potions. That's about the only thing that's gonna save me here. Is we're just stock up on Mega Potions. See you. So she's like a snake lady who's also a store manager. Interesting. Interesting new character. And it looks like one of them is falling on a barrel in the back. Maybe they're canning these girls. They're turning them into mermaids and then, or sardines or something, and then canning them. And here we have a different experience. Seems like you have a little bit of control, but not a lot. You can do a little bit of braking, and you can go a little faster, and then you just fall to your death. And at this point you would assume it wasn't a game over and you would just reset you. What you can't do is attack while you're sliding on your butt. I got orange. What does that mean? Apparently there's multiple oranges. Perhaps orange will... Let's see. Perhaps an orange is a food item that would refill your health. That's believable. Yeah. I tried to... I died that time. I tried to bring up the menu, but I hit the wrong button, didn't I? And apparently these toggle on and off. Interesting options. Alright. So I want to slow down so that I can get past all these. Alright. Now orange will replenish a bit of health. But I probably won't take much damage. Alright, orange, use. It refills at least 3 3/4. I wouldn't be surprised if it does actually all of I wouldn't be surprised one bit if it does a rather large amount of health, like a full heart. This moves a little too fast, and you kind of want to be in the middle of the screen, I guess. Now I need to be a little bit further ahead. I imagine what I'm mostly getting here is just rupees. I don't know how much a potion would refill either. So ideally, you would probably one hopes also that we are close to the end, because if we're not... Alright, so orange does do 1 full health. So there's an opportunity here for me to get like 3 pieces of food. The previous game had a lot of food items too, but man, is there a way to slow this down? Or just look ahead? This has the Sonic the Hedgehog problem where you kind of need to be at the very back of the screen so that you can get enough time to see what's going on. There we go. And that probably means I should use this now. And then press A. Get another orange if we can. Trying to avoid taking damage. But I'm so far back I couldn't even see myself at that point. Almost certainly it wasn't their goal for me to have to have done this 4 different times. So yeah, I want to be slightly far back, but not too far back. I want to have Shantae on the screen so I can see where she is. Like, this is where it gets crazy. Because now you're gonna let it go forward ahead of you to then really just have it decide to go the other direction. Or probably close to a jump. Because when we've been seeing gems, that has been an indication of a jump. Now the screen is twisting, which is just making this even worse. Come on, game. Tell me I'm done with this sequence. Because this is something that's getting much closer to a cutscene level of an experience than something that should have been a challenge experience. We had sections like this in the previous games too, and these are definitely the sections that I did not like at all. That you only run through it once, but you have to pull off some major platforming sections. I think they probably need more checkpoints, and they probably need to break up those kinds of experiences. Had there been a much shorter slide that we had done before this point, and we kind of gotten used to it, and then we did some platforming, and we're really going through just like one large room each time. We're really not going through what you would really describe as dungeons. Bolo, quit messing around. Moan. Those were the missing maidens, but now they've been turned into counterfeit mermaids. Don't you see what's going on here? Someone has been turning regular old bog standard cute girls into phony fish folk. Fakes. Ugh, I'm gonna be sick. Why did they voice it's disgusting alright? It seems like maybe what they're trying to do through the series of the Shantae games is just have more and more lines of dialogue for Shantae, so by the time they get to the 7th or 8th game in the series, it can be fully voice acted without them having to pay for the voice acting at the very beginning. So the fake mermaids are sealed into cans, go down this chute and wind up here. But why? Who's behind all this? Ah, we dealt with Techno Baron once before, I think. Arg, lost count again. Who disrupts my concentration? I did. I saw your counterfeit mermaid factory and the fake mermaids. Now I'm sending you up the river just like your giant cans, which I'm also kicking you in. Grr. How did you get past my techno grunts? No matter. You'll never leave this place alive. Have fun sleeping with the fishes. Ooh, ha ha ha. So here's a big split. We haven't fought giant monsters really. There's been some slightly larger enemies in previous games, but notice how the game has zoomed out quite a bit here to show you this giant mermaid lady who maybe is a siren who has been chained up here, and I guess maybe we're going to have to fight even though it may be against her own will that she's being forced to fight. And yeah, this is really a giant monster, and you really don't get a lot of that in any kind of adventure game. Like, even when you're fighting like Ripley in the Metroid Prime series, that's a pretty big dragon, but not as big scale wise as I think the siren is being depicted. Or even when you're fighting like the dragons in Skyrim, they're still, I don't think, scale wise as big as this is. This might be one of the biggest characters until you start getting into like really ridiculous sized characters. Bayonetta's the final like god creature you fight at the end of Bayonetta was giant. That's one reference certainly, and any of the Colossus is you fought in like Shadow of the Colossuses were probably giant. And yeah, we have a siren or mermaid character here that has gills on her arm, it seems, and gills on her ribs, and then seashell bra and a low cut kind of skirt type design, although it all seems like the skirt might be just part of her body, so technically she might actually just be completely nude below the seashell bra. Even the seashell bra might be organic for all we know. Holy mackerel, no wonder the mermaids are attacking. He's captured their queen. I've got to set her free. Giga Mermaid, captivating captive. Alright. So, instead of it, let's see, she seems to be striking out with a mermaid style attack. With kind of heat seeking, seems like they're kind of heat seeking missiles, as it were. Alright. We're gonna have to be careful. So we'll just use a potion. The crystal on her forehead, I bet, is controlling her. And so I bet at a certain point we will have to break the crystal to free her. So we freed her, and maybe the crystal is controlling her, maybe not. We break the chains, although, so maybe she's gonna be on our side now. Phew, you're safe now. Now, what would be really funny is if this turns out that no, we're not safe now, and she's actually a bad guy, and now she's just even stronger.
Uh-oh. She looks mad.
Okay, now we've got like puzzles and dodging damage. We have the back dodge ability, so we need to use that. Can we hit her in the boobs? No. So we'll have to be aware of that. Do we have any attack right now? Oops, and I just back dodged into it. So hopefully we only have to hit this crystal like 3 times. Otherwise could go on for a while. And maybe there's only like 2 platforms here. I don't know if it's really necessary to take damage when you run into the character like that. It would have worked just as well for it to have blocked you. But I just dodged back into it. This does prove that there is a benefit in buying as many potions as possible. And I'm going to be very liberal with using this. I don't have any other attack at the moment. So that's important to remember here. I'm not just goofing off. So I could turn myself into a monkey, sure. But nope. I just needed to hit it 5 times instead of the old-fashioned Nintendo 3 times. Which I really wasn't asking too much. And so 3 of the maidens have been rescued and de-fake mermaided. Techno Baron, you sick fiend. You're selling fake mermaids as canned monster chow. Hey, we all gotta eat. Sales were high and supplies were low. What else was I supposed to do? Leave money lying on the table? I ran out of legit mermaids after my orders were filled. We just needed a few shipments of B-grade product to help bridge the gap, that's all. It's just good business. I'll give you the business. And so the Sequin crystal is now blue, but apparently that is still a part of her outfit. And all the mermaids are the like twin-tailed redheads with green skin, which is interesting because the maiden that we first met was also a twin-tailed redhead. So the mermaids weren't behind this after all. I guess I owe you all an apology. I keep saying ugh when I mean I was wrong. It was wrong for me to jump to conclusions. I hope you accept my apology. Apology accepted. Bolo, I was talking to them, not you. Anyway, I hope we can be friends from now on. Now let's get those girls back home. There was a transformation dance that turned us into a mermaid, so I imagine we're gonna get that fairly quickly. I was thinking there might be an achievement if you just danced at the end, but it doesn't seem like it. But you get an achievement for beating the mission. These are very oddly broken up experiences, certainly, though, that you're really going through 2, maybe 3 really big areas, and then you've got a bit of a action thing like the slide puzzle, and then you have one boss fight. I don't know if I hate that, but I mean, it might work very well. It just is going to really come down to how many levels there are and how repetitive it is. I feel like in the last game, there was enough repetition that I was kind of bored of the game by the time I was at the end of it. Where here, it feels like we're moving so fast that I could feel a little underwhelmed if they don't give me enough content. Daughter of the Genies, welcome to the Genie Realm. Take this transformation and enter the light. And this is the crab dance. Use the power to travel underwater. Press Y to dance. So, he can travel underwater as a crab, but he jumps and that's it. He doesn't swim. I'm glad to hear you were able to set things right. Yep, all the maidens were returned home safe and sound. And every last mermaid too. Don't forget about them. So, how's your dynamo coming along, Uncle? Well, the basics are all there. But according to my blueprint, I'm still missing 4 components, starting with copper wiring. I can fashion my own wire, but to do it, I'd need a piece of copper ore. No problem, I'll go and find some for you, Uncle. Atta girl. Now, where am I gonna find copper ore? Yep. So we're making progress, slowly but surely, and clearly we're just gonna get another mission that's gonna send us somewhere. But we clearly need to find a place where we can kind of grind, I think, a little bit more too, because I'm not really getting a great opportunity to get more rupees. But when I am collecting rupees, I'm clearly getting a massive amount of them. Like, there's no way I'd even be up to 224 by the drop rate that would have existed in the previous game. We would break jars and get 1 rupee, 5 rupees. Here I'm getting like 40, 50, 60 for every gem. And that's probably a nice power creep feature too. For as much as we had to use like 3 mega potions just to get to the end of the game, the level. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.